Have you ever heard of a creepypasta narration? Well, let me tell you real quick. You see, there's a thing called creepypasta. And basically it's a scary or weird story. It can be fact or fiction. It goes around on the internet. A lot of people put them up on Reddit. You can find people on places like YouTube that read them and add music and stuff. It's actually pretty cool. You just submit whatever the story is, and they read it. Well, sometimes. There are a lot of people who write these stories, so it can be hard to get yours seen or heard by people. Sure, you can go to some of the crappy guys, but to get a really good narrator to read yours, you've got to write something pretty darn cool to get their attention. I've been writing these stories for a while, but can't seem to write something they will read. It's so frustrating. Maybe my ideas just aren't any good. Maybe it's the way I write. I don't know. All I do know is that it's been my main goal for a while. It might sound stupid, but it's something I really want. And I don't really want much of anything most of the time. I just think it would make me feel better, help my self-esteem. Lately, I've made some friends online through Reddit, YouTube, and other places like that. We've been talking because these people are in the same boat. We just can't seem to write something good enough to get any attention. It makes me mad, sad, and frustrated. I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. Sure, I could go to one of the smaller narrators, and they might read it out of desperation for something to share on their channel. But what if they don't like it either? Then how would I feel? I've joined a writing group, so hopefully that will help. We meet every Friday at the Starbucks by my house. I'm only 18, and I don't have a car, so I can just grab my notebook and walk over there. It's a nice little thing to look forward to each week. I don't have many friends in real life. The people are pretty nice. It's mostly older women, like over 25 housewives who think they can do something special. But they are pleasant enough ladies, and they seem to encourage me rather than put me down. My parents aren't much into reading, and they're not creative, so I don't ask their opinion. And there aren't a lot of kids I know who are into writing, except my best friend. She writes crap poetry about death and love. So, having this little writing club is fine for now. I think I might have kind of a crush on one of the women, Yana. I don't know. Maybe we could probably hook up if I were a little older. She always sits next to me, buys my coffee, and gives me compliments. Yeah, I'd totally have a shot with her if I was at least out of high school. But I'm not, so there you have it. Well, that's what I thought until a few days ago. Yana offered me a ride home after writing club, so I said yeah because it started to rain, and I didn't feel much like walking home in the rain. We got in her car and she started driving. She turned to me and said, "Say, you want to go to my house? We could talk some more." "Sure, sounds good to me." Come on, what dude is going to turn down going back to a beautiful older girl's house? As she drove, I tried not to stare. I'd always thought she was cute, but something about the way the streetlights reflected on her dark tan made her almost glow. She seemed too good to be true. So, my professor was telling us more the other day about show, don't tell. He gave us some really good information. We'll look at it when we get back to my place. Professor? I thought she was older than college age. Yeah, you know, college professor. Oh, so you're in college. What year? I remembered you asked people in college what year they're in, not what grade. "Oh, Junior," she said as she shifted gears and we slowed down and stopped at the traffic lights. I did the math in my head, and that made her only about 20, maybe 21, something like that. Heck, maybe I did have a chance. She wasn't that much older than me. So do you live in a dorm?" "Oh, God, no. I have an apartment. It's not much, but it's mine." The light changed and we started moving again. Cool. It wasn't long before we got to her house. Not much, I thought. Her apartment complex was awesome. She even had a garage for her car. She pushed a button and the garage door opened and we pulled in. I felt clammy, sweaty, and my heart was kind of racing. I'd never been alone in an apartment with a woman. I got out of the car and shut the door. As we were walking to the entrance, the garage door closed behind us. I couldn't see much and tripped over her bicycle. "Oh, damn, sorry." I scrambled to pick it up. "Oh, no worries. You can just leave it. I'll take care of it later." "Okay." I followed her voice so I could get to the door, which was open by the time I got there. "Come on in." It was really nice. I walked past the dining room and into the living room. "Oh, you can just sit wherever. I'll be right back." She walked down the hallway. I looked around and then scanned her bookshelf. There was some real crap there. Real crap, I tell you. 50 Shades of Ugh, that stupid book. The Notebook. Oh, classics by Danielle Steele, and a bunch of other garbage. How do I know these books are crap? Well, my aunt and older sister read them. Not quality literature, I can guarantee you. Trust me on this. Just don't. I picked up a composition book I saw and started to flip through it. It felt wrong, but I did it because... I don't know. I don't have an excuse. I just did it. It was some of Yana's writing, but not the normal kind of stuff she brings to us at the club. This was dark. Interesting. I mean, it was really dark, but I liked it. It was better than some of the real horror stories I've read, and I've read them all, it seems like. I heard her coming down the hall, so I shoved it back on the shelf, jogged over and tossed myself onto the couch. When she entered, she was wearing more casual clothes, had taken her makeup off, and had pushed her hair back with a bandana. She sat down next to me on the couch, curling her legs up under her, and she scooted real close. I wasn't sure what to do, but I had a feeling she did. I turned my head to look at her. She dabbed the end of my nose with a finger and giggled. "You're cute, Charlie." "Nobody ever calls me Charlie," I said, feeling the words catch in my throat. "Well, now they do," she simpered. Then she grabbed my face in her hands and started to kiss me. At first it was just small, light kisses, but that soon turned into a full-blown make-out session. She fell back onto the sofa, and I ran my hands all over her. I mean, all over. Our breathing got heavier, and I got more excited at the thought of being with a girl like this. I started preparing for the ride of my life. "Do you have protection?" I asked. She stopped, then started to laugh, throwing her head back on the arm of the sofa. "What?" When she sat up, her hair fell down in her face. The bandana had slipped in the midst of all our rolling about. Protection. She scooted back, away from me, just staring at me with a smirk on her face. "Well, I don't want to do it without protection. I'm too young to be a dad. Do what? She cupped her hand over her mouth and laughed. Oh, God, did you think I was actually going to? She clapped her hands and threw her head back. Oh, kid, I was just having a little fun. Do you think I would actually... with you? She tossed her head back again, laughing at me. I saw her long, tan neck, just there for the taking. I lunged at her, tightening the bandana that had slipped around her neck. I tightened and I tightened. Her eyes bulged, and she started gasping for air. Oh, I failed to mention before, I outweighed her by at least 75 to 100 pounds, and stood at least a foot taller than her. All I could think about now was stealing that notebook and publishing the stories as my own. The way she'd laughed at me only fueled my anger. Her tiny frame was no match for me. I bared down as her bony hands gripped my wrists, trying to push me off of her. I continued to pull the bandana. Her movements weakened, until finally she grew limp, and her entire body was motionless. I sat, staring at her, probably in shock at what I'd done. I waited for a final gasp, watching her glazed over eyes, just staring. I waited for her to blink. Then I felt something wet underneath us. I knew that this time she was gone. No breath, glassy eyes, and now the urine. Yeah, she was dead, and I had done it. I got up and moved over to a chair. I sat there, not knowing what to do. How would I ever get out of this? What would I ever say to the cops if they came looking for me? I knew I had maybe a couple of days, because who knew when someone would discover the body? I had to get out of there, and quick. So, I grabbed her notebook full of awesome writing and took off. I knew there were fingerprints and fibers and everything all over the living room. DNA on her. There was no point in trying to cover my tracks. But if I were lucky, I'd have time to submit the stories. It took me an hour to walk home, but it didn't feel like that long because I was so excited. First, they'd have to find the body, then start making the rounds, and you know the drill. So, I had to act fast. When I got home, I ran straight to my room, opened my laptop and started typing. I typed all of the stories. It took me all night. I typed this one too. Then I started sending every single one of the stories to my favorite narrators. A couple of days passed when I saw the first narration, and then another. I was so excited to see all the positive comments. I didn't even care that the stories I'd submitted weren't mine. They liked me. When my favorite narrator contacted me and asked if this was fact or fiction, I didn't reply. It must not have mattered to him, because he agreed to read it, said he loved it. He might even be the one reading this to you right now. I sent out several, so we'll see what happens. I'll never know if they read the others. This being the internet, and all the narrators might never find out about what I've done or who I am. I don't care, because for a little while, I knew what it felt like to be admired and liked. That doesn't happen often to guys like me. I probably won't be around to see what you think, but I know you will always wonder who really wrote the creepypastas you listen to. thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this story today. It really means a lot to me and to the author of the story, of course. Well, if you want to know more about me, I'm pretty much everywhere on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can download my music on SoundCloud. I've got a Patreon if you feel like. Throw me $1 or $2. Very much appreciated. And of course, on Reddit, I have a place where you can leave stories if you want me to read one that you've written. Well, hoping to see you all again very soon. Till then, sweet dreams, and bye-bye.